So I picked up a bushing puller set, as you see here. It contains about a dozen sleeves, as well as these rods of different sizes. We're going to use the M12 rod today, so it looks like this one here. And pretty much, in order to push the sleeves out, or the bushing out, we're going to use these sleeves. One to intercept the bushing, and the other one to push one out. So we're going to use two. So this is the new bushing that we're going to push in after we push the old one out. And you can see it just kind of slides right in. And then we need a sleeve that's small enough for it, but I tested all of them, they're a little too big. And so what I end up picking up is a 29mm axle socket. And based on this caliper here, this caliper tool measures it at roughly 41.25 millimeters. And so we need something smaller to push it out. Smallest one I could find was the 29mm axle, which the outer diameter measures as 39.29 millimeters. So this is enough to push it out. So we're gonna push it out this way, and we're just gonna push out the old one out and then push the new one in. So more to come on that. We'll go ahead and get started. We're going to change it out with an OEM bushing, Honda part number 52395 S5A 004. And this is what it looks like. One of the bigger challenges that we're going to have to do is actually push this thing out. And how we're going to do that is actually use one of these kind of a bushing pullers. All right, so this is what our setup looks like. We have our bushing pulling tool, which is this rod, this kind of bigger sleeve that intercepts the old bushing, and this little smaller one that pushes it out. We have a 22mm kind of ratchet connected here. We're eventually going to switch this out with a break-it bar when it gets tough. And then we have this kind of open wrench just to hold this kind of firmly down. I already pushed out the old bushing, the inner sleeve and here, and just the kind of metal, the rubber piece. And so what's left is this outer kind of sleeve connected to the knuckle, and that's what we're going to have to push out with this 29mm socket. So I'm going to work on this and see how it goes. All right. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I've been using this kind of breaker bar to kind of just keep clocking this socket through this opening of the knuckle, just to push the bushing out, or that last sleeve piece. It's nice that they put this little kind of rivet here, or this kind of cut out here, so you can actually see the outer sleeve being pushed out slowly. So it is working. So this smaller socket is going through, and then the outer one is being pushed out. So we're gonna have to keep going. It's about halfway, or even like kind of a third through. So we're gonna have to keep kind of like doing it the old school way and seeing how that goes. So there you have it. All right. So we have the old bushing pretty much pushed out of the knuckle itself. This is the old one. So we started by actually pushing out this kind of old sleeve and bushing, this inner sleeve and bushing out of the outer one, so it just kind of tore itself out. And then all that was left is the little sleeve within the bushing, and that's why we had this 29mm socket, because it just fits just a little bit small enough to put a little kind of pressure against that outer sleeve, and it easily pushed it out. And so all that's left now is just to take this old, or this new one, sorry, part number there, and we're just going to push it back in the same direction. This time we're not going to use this socket. This is just for removing. We're going to try to find a sleeve that's big enough to fit on the outside, just to push it in. Things going on the left side. So that is our new bushing. This is our tool, and then this is the bolt or nut that we're gonna have to tighten up. So now that we have the composition, which is a sleeve to push against the knuckle itself, we're just gonna tighten it up just to make sure it gets into place. All right, so as you can see here, this new sleeve is bigger than the new bushing, because we don't want to press against that rubber that we're pushing down. We're not going to use this one. This was to push it out, and all we're going to do is just tighten this side, and it's just going to back that bushing directly into the knuckle. The nice thing about these little kind of like peek holes here is we can actually see what's going on, so that we know when to stop. All right, so we're about to push the new bushing in. You can see the new bushing is inserted right next to the knuckle. I'm using this larger sleeve. It's 46 by 36 to push the sleeve in. It's a little bit bigger than the bushing itself in comparison to when I was using this to push it out, because we don't want to damage that new bushing. And so all we're going to do now is just ratchet away with this connected here, and then this here just to hold it in place. And we're gonna just do this for as long as we can so that it goes in. So I'll just kind of like keep the video on, let you guys see. You can see the bushing is just kind of sliding in to the knuckle really nicely. Don't even need a breaker bar this time. It's just kind of just using force just to come in. All right, we're almost done. You can see it's getting really close to that edge. And it's getting tight. It's pretty much done. All right, and there we have it. Just gonna back this out. And it's installed. So what you saw is we pushed this new bushing in to the knuckle. It's in flush, and all we have to do now is reconnect the rear camber arm to this knuckle here. All right, we're pretty much done. All I've done is torqued it at 43 foot-pounds, and that is the bolt that connects the rear camber arm, as you see there, to the rear knuckle. As you can see, that's the new bushing. It was a lot smoother than I thought, and I'm sure it's going to drive a lot better. Thanks, guys.